birthday.
No, I am.
I mean, you did it on accident, so we're good.
Happy
But-
birthday.
Thank you.
You only get one.
I get two.
You get one.
I get two.
No,
It's your birthday now.
It's your birthday
it
now.
was my birthday in Japan this morning when I woke up at
Nobody
4.
No, it
cares
was not.
about Japan.
And now it's-
birthday. Your birthday in Japan. that
You
is.
weren't born in Japan.
You weren't born in Japan.
That's okay.
You weren't. It wasn't
That's
your birthday.
okay. It was.
officially
It
your
was
birthday.
another day until one.
No, it
Yeah.
wasn't.
Until
And
one.
we're gonna end it early. We're gonna end it on Japan time. We started it on America time, but we're gonna end it on Japan time.
Until he gets to 13
So you
hours.
You got a 13-hour birthday. Okay.
Happy birth, 13 hours. Yay!
When the sun goes down, your birthday goes away.
No, that's not right.
That's not even 13 hours.
I know.
It's 11 hours.
You got an 11-hour birthday. Shortest birthday ever.
It's 11.
Yeah.
So get your celebrating in now.
Yeah, right now. Start immediately.
Because it gets cut off.
Man's wearing a purple thong right now.
I don't want to look like the guy. Backwards the whole way. I don't want to look like the guy drinking and walking with the groom and stuff.
Yeah, he's talking all that mess. Y'all, camera, you ain't see when he's talking all that mess. Where the ball at? Where the ball at? We got the ball.
Put the camera on Will's feet.
Yeah, you almost got hit by a car. Yeah, you better watch out. Yeah. Dorian almost got hit by a car. Yeah. I don't know if that got caught on camera, but Dorian just got hit by a car almost.
Will saved my life. Y'all leave me alone now. Hold up, now get off my dog.
Leave me alone.
Get off my dog.
We ain't talking about Will no more.
You're gonna die by a taxi cab.
He ain't even slow down, man. You won't worry about hitting me.
We're only at day 4. This has been about like 5 or 6 near-death experiences.
5 of them were on David.
Oh, please, man. Oh, man. You almost got hit by a car, dude. Your little sweats would have been on the ground and ran over.
We going to another mountain, so you already know, David. We on David watch right now. He's not so good with the mountain. Oh, man. This thing got a big old belly like David.
Six-pack, bro. Six-pack.
Six pack and a keg.
Right there. That's a six-pack, dude.
You got them all.
Kimizudera may be my favorite Otera, our Buddhist temple. This is, I think, the most amazing Shinto shrine, although many people would argue the Heian shrine, which has amazing gardens, is also pretty amazing. This is a very old place, okay? The Fushimi Inari Shrine predates the movement of the capital of Kyoto in the year 794. Basically a good 1,000 years before America, the capital of Japan, which already existed, was moved to Kyoto. Before 794, it was in Nara, which is a city not too far from the south here. And even before that, there was a shrine here at this place. And when the capital was in Nara, the shrine expanded. We are south of the city of Kyoto. Nara is much further south. Well, not nowadays because you take the train. The Inari is the Shinto rice deity, and one of the things you'll see around here are a lot of foxes, and a lot of people are confused and think that the foxes are the Inari. The Inari is actually a Shinto rice deity. The foxes are considered to be the messengers of the Inari. Usually this is a good thing. The wrong fox could be pretty bad for you, but you know. But generally these are the messengers of the Inari. They bring tidings of good crops, bad crops, and so forth and so on. The reason it's called Fushimi Inari is not because Fushimi is some special thing in the Shinto sect. The reason it's called Fushimi Inari is because it's in Fushimi. But it's the Inari. There are many Inari jinja, or shrines, around Japan. But the reason it's called Fushimi Inari is because it's located in Fushimi. However, it is one of the central Inari sect shrines. Fushimi Inari is, consider it sort of like the St. Paul's Cathedral of the Inari sect. This is a central place for all Inari. There are Inari sect members throughout Japan. There are Inari shrines throughout Japan. This is actually the key Inari shrine. There are other very important Inari shrines. The history of the shrine is fascinating. Many people focus on my favorite part as well, which is the thousands of torii back there. You can start on two paths that go all the way up the mountain. And you can follow these torii up. Some people say it takes 45 minutes to get to the top. We have a couple of things I'll mention time-wise that we want to really be on top of, because the only negative thing I can say about Fushimi Inari is not about Fushimi Inari, it's about Fushimi Prefecture, and that is that they won't keep their bus slots open past 7. And that's been it's not just been the bane of our existence, it's been the bane of a lot of tour groups' existence, because one of the best times to climb this is at night. It's a completely different feel. I've climbed it during the day and during the night. During the day, it's beautiful, it's amazing, the views are amazing. At night, it's also beautiful, but it's almost like a mystical experience. So if students are wanting to do that, I might be willing to come back and climb it one night. But we'll have to just see how schedules work out for how my schedule works out. But I'd be happy to lead a group. We take the train down. There's 2 major train lines that come down here, which is probably another reason why the bus parking lots close early. But the history of these buildings are amazing. Many of them are not as old as the temple. There's very few original torii left from the original jinja. I mean, this jinja's been here for well over, let's see, it was probably 600 when it was sort of like a local kind of little jinja. But it's at least 1400, if not older, 1500 years old. And the torii started coming in maybe about 1,000, 1,100 years ago. Obviously there are very few original torii left. There are actually some on the mountain, though, that you'll see that are hundreds, if not 1,000 years old. They're not generally discernible in that sense. Most of the torii going up the mountain, and this is very misleading if you read, I always love this, you read the English descriptions of Fushimi Inari, and they always point out that these torii are donated by individuals and companies. And so the sense is, companies, that none of these torii could be very old. They're obviously donated by these individuals and maintained by these individuals. But what some people forget is there may have been individuals that donated a torii 400, 500 years ago. And sometimes the same family maintains them today. Part of the Shinto tradition involves ancestors as well. Also, some of the torii that a company takes over may have been there for a very long time, but just whoever was maintaining them was no longer maintaining them, so they're then, you essentially become, it's like you essentially are the caretaker for the torii, so you maintain them. You'll see fresh paint on many of the tories. These are the individuals and companies that do them. The tories are these gates, and they are a very important part of the Shinto tradition. You'll see them in all different areas where there are Shinto shrines. You saw them at Yasaka Jinja the other day. And again, just a linguistic thing. Otera are Buddhist temples. Okay, a jinja is a Shinto shrine. Most Japanese, you know, we have this Western sense in America. You got to be either like Christian, Jewish, Muslim. This in Japan, this concept of either or in religious sense it just doesn't make a lot of sense. In fact, it probably seems, I would suspect, having talked to many people, somewhat intolerant. Most people in Japan will have Buddhist ceremonies particularly on happy occasions, Shinto ceremonies frequently on less happy occasions, deaths and so forth, and may also have what are called church weddings, which don't necessarily involve an actual real church, but does involve somebody dressed up like a minister. And I was at a wedding. I found it. I talked to the minister afterwards and asked what denomination he was. He said he just gave me his meishi for his company. And you know, but this Western sense of religion, for me as a law and religion scholar, having spent a lot of time in Japan, I love the view here. I think that we could learn a lot in America. We've got a lot of good concepts of freedom, but I think we could learn a lot about religious tolerance from Japan. Maybe not nationalistic tolerance historically, but we could definitely learn a lot about religious tolerance. Most Japanese will come to a Shinto shrine, go to a Buddhist temple. There is no sense that there's something wrong with doing both. And so you've got to get it out of your head that this is the same as a Buddhist temple. This is a completely different religion. And in fact, historically speaking, there were periods of time where certain leaders essentially viewed Buddhism as a threat and embraced nationalistically Shintoism, but of course for the individual Japanese citizens, that was clearly a political move. It had no, you know, religiously, people believed what they believed, even if they had to do part of it for those short periods of time in quiet. So this is a Shinto shrine. This is a jinja. Whenever you see a jinja, when you see orange torii usually, and when you hear Shinto, Fushimi, in this case there are other Shinto sects, it's a jinja, it's a shrine. When you hear Otera, then that's a temple, that's a Buddhist temple. And it'll be important because Kyoto is the home to many of the most important jinja and Otera
So
in
Professor
the
Rabbit said
world.
the fastest time anybody can make it up there, 45 minutes. Come on, son.
Come on, son.
We about to test that theory.
Oh yeah.
All right. Lego.